Hey guys, hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. If this is your first time on my channel, I highly encourage you to check out all the other videos. They're funny, they're exciting, they're silly. But today I wanted to talk to you guys about something kind of serious that happened to me. I just think it's something that people need to talk about more. It's taken me a full year to just be able to say these words without like completely breaking down, which are 1 year ago from today, I was assaulted at Knifepoint. I will always be honest with you guys about what is going on in my life, especially if I feel like even though it's hard, it could help you too. I don't want to talk about this. I really wanted to move on and forget about it, but like it is my responsibility to you guys to share what I've learned, because I don't want that to happen to you. And if it has happened to you, I don't want you to feel alone. Because I did for a long time. Like I felt stupid. I felt like, man, I'm so stupid. Like why did I not take a self-defense class before? Why did I not take it seriously? And I don't know, maybe it's because I'm from a small town and I went to college in a small town, and you know, I've lived in Los Angeles for a little bit, but like I don't know. I'm gonna tell you guys what happened, and then after that I'll talk about kind of how the past year has been, because I've changed a lot in many positive ways. And a lot of it has been thanks to your guys' support. So I just kind of, before I start, wanted to say thank you so much for being a part of my life, because there have been many days when I might have not shared it on social media, but like they were really hard days. And you helped me get through that with your encouraging words, your comments, reminding me that there are people who may have not met me but care about me, and I care so much about you too. It was October of 2015 and I had been working late and I had to park on the street a few blocks away from my apartment. I was walking along with my phone, just like texting, looking down, carrying a pretty full gym bag. It was a well-lit area. I had never ever in my life worried for my safety in that kind of way. And then it just sounded like there were footsteps running at me. And so I kind of looked over my shoulder and I saw a man about 15 feet behind me who looked like he had just stopped moving, like he had been running and then stopped when I saw him. And we held eye contact for a second, and I saw his fingers were kind of moving and tingling. Like the eye contact we held was like kind of weird, and I was just like, I'm just gonna go inside my apartment. So I turn around to go, up the last section of stairs to go up to my apartment, and the next thing I felt was his hand on my back, tugging at my gym bag, and that is like obviously when I realized what's going on. I was so paralyzed from fear and confusion and like, how could this happen to me, that it honestly took me like probably 2 full seconds to think like, oh, I should like scream for help, because that's like the natural human thing you should do in this situation. I started screaming and he was pulling on the bag. And if this ever happens to you, I hope it never does. Give him your stuff. Don't ever think that your material possessions are worth more than your own life. But I was so scared and just paralyzed from fear that I just pulled my arms in and like curled into the ball on the pavement, so scared that he couldn't get it off of me because I was just holding so tightly onto it. And then he pulled out a knife. Literally, I thought I was going to die. This is how I'm ending my life. I've made some like cool videos on the internet. I feel good about where I've gotten, packing my whole life and moving to Los Angeles and hoping everything's gonna be okay. This is how I'm gonna end it? What? Oh my God. Then one of my neighbors opened their door and he just ran. Next thing that happened is something that when you see this stuff in movies and TV shows, they never show, which is I spent the entire rest of my night not recovering from the experience, but meeting with multiple police officers. They like quarantined off the area. They had me give like 10 different accounts of the exact same thing over and over and over again. They wanted every single detail of what he was wearing, what he looked like. I had to give I had to talk to a sketch artist. I had to drive around at 1 a.m. in the back of a police car while they detained random people on the street. And then I had to be there and be like, that wasn't that person, that wasn't that person, all night long. In crime procedural shows, you see the incident and then it's suddenly the next morning. That's not even the 10% of it. The incident happens, and then not only does the incident happen, but you're not given the mental breathing room you need to recover from it, because the next step in the situation is to try and find and imprison that person. And that really, really sucked. When I finally got home, I couldn't sleep. I kept waking up thinking that this individual was like gonna come back because he literally knows where I live. My apartment and building manager didn't do anything about the incident. They had a camera set up pointing directly at the space where this incident happened to me, and they went to check it, and it was off. It was off. Now I want to talk to you guys about just some things that I learned from this experience and have learned about myself in the past year so that you can prevent this from happening to you. And also, if this has happened to you, some resources and steps you can take for your mental and physical recovery. And I want all of you guys to know this could happen to you. This could happen to you at any time. And I'm not saying that to scare you. I'm saying that to you because you should really take education surrounding these types of experiences really seriously. First of all, I changed where I lived. I didn't think that, like living in a certain type of complex with security, prioritizing my actual safety was worth how much more expensive it is in Los Angeles until this incident happened. At that point, I was basically, okay, like this is time. Like I need to change locations. I need to invest in my safety. And I'm really, really glad that I did that. The second thing that I did was I took a self-defense class. I never thought something like this would ever happen to me. I'm like super into fitness. I love being athletic and strong, and my friends know me as that kind of a person. And therefore, I thought like, oh, if I'm ever in that situation, like, I'm strong enough to run. I can run. Well, you know what? I couldn't have been further from the truth. There are a lot of techniques for self-defense that prepare you for the mental aspect of an assault. And that is what I was not prepared for at all. As I mentioned in my story, I basically crippled, fell to the ground, like was completely useless in the situation. And through the self-defense class that I took, which I'll put a link to their information in the description box below. So if you live in Los Angeles, you should absolutely try to take one of their classes. I learned a lot about like physical things you can do, things you can say in this situation to help. I learned about how to position your body in a situation where you're being entrapped. This might be the most basic stuff to learn, but like I have something that I can say in my head to myself to get me through a situation, hopefully. The third thing that I did was invest more in self-care. So I started seeing my therapist more frequently. I started prioritizing my mental health more, and I found that both of those were really important because the mental recovery took several months. This is not what they show in crime procedurals. It's like, oh, this thing happened, you wake up, it's the next day, by the end of the episode, they've caught the guy, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's not what happens in real life. Know that your recovery is going to be long. It's going to have ups and downs. I had a lot of nightmares. I had a lot of anxiety walking alone at night. But welcome that and love yourself despite that, because it's natural and it's part of the healing process. I just want you to know that your safety and your mental health are worth everything, and take it seriously, like for real. And I want you to feel safe and empowered, and that's really it. Anyways, I promise next week we'll be back to our regular scheduled silly programming. Okay, everybody. Thanks for hanging along for that ride. If you are a recovering victim, you're not alone, and we're in this together.